mother had a bunch of little sherbet dishes, you know, so
Oh, really?
the table was fancy, and then she had fruit cocktail and these little things, we'd never seen it before. And so we all sat down and Cassie and Clarence and can't remember who else was there. And we thought that was really a big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about Cassie at all?
Oh yeah, yeah. She was one of my favorite people.
She was your aunt, right?
Yeah. And she just lived across the road from us on the farm. There's just right across the road. And then every summer, Pearl, her daughter, would come with Billy, the little boy. And he loved to come across the road to us because we'd be silo filling and thrashing and everything.
Remember when that was taken?
Yep.
Running across the alfalfa
good year.
fields.
I really
And
enjoyed
we'd
that
meet him.
summer out here.
Must have been 12 feet tall.
Yep.
Years old.
Because it's twice as high as I am there.
So
For
he'd
sure.
come flying down there and we'd take him
Yeah.
out. and
This is
take him
Danny,
around
this is
the
you.
tractors and
Yep.
horses and everything.
And he had a little garden and he had
That's right.
sunflower
That's right.
in the garden. This is Danny
Yeah.
and this is Les.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Gee, that's quite the deal. That is quite
I don't know what made that thing grow, I think. I think there had been a chicken yard there or something there, and probably fertilizer
Yeah.
made it grow.
Yeah, it was. And
Yeah.
Pearl would come every Sunday, and then she had another, she
Yeah.
had Alan in 1 year, so she had two little guys. And
Man, I
we
was
used to
skinny
raise them
then.
and take care of them a lot.
I was skinny then.
Oh, yeah,
Loved
that was
to be
too.
over there.
Wow.
And then
Slimmer
we'd
than
go
I
and
am
take them
now.
back home and bring
Skinny
us out
little guy,
and
too.
Yeah.
wind charger on the
I
farm.
had hair, I guess. We all had a little more hair then, didn't we?
Electricity. And then
Yeah.
she had a refrigerator, and she made ice cubes. So that was our treat, always get ice cubes, sit out on the back step with these ice cubes and just enjoy.
That was
Yeah,
Cassie.
something cool. Well, no, that was Pearl or Cassie. Cassie had a
Yeah,
refrigerator.
yeah. Pearl lived in Illinois,
Oh, okay.
in Springfield. Her husband Bill never came on those vacations with her because he worked all the
I
time.
was gonna bring over some arrowheads that I
And,
picked up
so
today.
she always came
forgot
along
about
for
it.
3 months, vacation.
Wow.
Cassie loved that. She just
Oh, I bet.
enjoyed it. She was a nice, calm, fun lady.
That's good.
She was wonderful. Yeah, for her husband Clarence, he was a big Scotchman, and Cassie was small. She was built smaller than we were, and she always broke all the horses if they needed to be broken to ride. And she's always one that did that.
Cassie?
Yeah, she broke all the horses.
Wow.
She could do that. And then she always had lots of baby lambs. He had a lot of sheep. He raised all the bottle lambs and really did good with them. She just had lots of baby lambs, bottle lambs. And
Was Lydia small too then, or
Hmm?
was Lydia also small, or just wondered where Cassie got short, the little,
I don't know. Dad was slender, awfully slender.
how tall was Cassie?
Oh, Cassie would have been. How tall would you say Cassie? How tall would you say Cassie was? Probably 5'6".
She was older.
Was she? How tall? Would she be about 6'7"?
Oh, how tall?
5'7"?
Yeah.
So short. Short and slender.
Yeah, she said that
Well,
when they were married, Franklin and Lydia,
yeah.
they got weighed and measured. They
Really?
were both the same height and both weighed 165 pounds.
Oh, God. That's what it did.
So Frank was short too.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
What about your dad? How tall was he?
About 6 foot.
George?
And Dad was about 6 feet tall, was he?
He was 6 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And slender. He was
Yeah.
quite slender.
I think Grandpa Darling was about 6'1".
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
had he was real talent, what do you call it?
But Lydia had tall brothers. I think one was 6'7". He was a big guy.
Yeah.
And I think her Lydia's father was probably about 6'3",
Hmm.
and
Do you remember anything else about him, about Lydia's father?
about who?
Lydia's father?
Just what I heard.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because he's been dead long before I
Yeah.
was born.
Was Grandma Hay, was Grandma Hay the one that never spoke to her brothers? Because they got,
I never heard about that.
yeah, Mother told me about that. There was some
I know
except,
her. She had one younger brother that they were good friends. They was always together. Jim, I think. Jim.
there were several of the older brothers that got more.
But she had
Like that.
a Lazarus and a Jim, and I don't remember all the others. I got a record that was somewhere.
Yeah, well, it was there were several of the brothers that got more land than Lydia did, and that.
They had a big fight about when
Yeah.
her sister Carolyn
Yeah,
married a guy named Quas,
I remember that.
and he bought some land there close to Cedar Rapids.
Yeah,
And as time went on, why Cedar Rapids came out and surrounded the land, and so he subdivided his farm and became very wealthy. And I guess others resented that.
yeah.
They thought that he got a bigger share, but his father had said, well, Orville, that was his name, would buy the farm. He said, by hard work. So he said, I just figured I owed it to him. So he willed the farm to his son. So that made the rest of them mad. They had a big fight about that. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, did Grandpa Darling ever talk about his dad at all? Do you remember anything about that?
Let's see.
What was that?
It was more about Grandpa Darling's father in North, like when he was in New York.
Well,
He was-
I think his wife, you got a picture of them,
Carolyn.
as a family,
Yes,
And I think they came from Syracuse, New York.
Oh, yes, that's right. They were
As my
wine-
grandfather's mother.
Yeah,
She was in Northrop.
yes, she was in the wine.
And anyway, they became wealthy because they were wine merchants. And anyway, they willed her out because she married a commoner. They were English, aristocratic English. So she didn't, she chose this man to be her husband, and he was not qualified to be a member of the clan.
Oh,
But he was a good guy.
He was a circuit rider, minister. And he was killed in a runaway accident. You got that down someplace?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't it the train that spooked the horses,
Yeah,
right? I think
That's
so.
what I
Well,
heard,
he had a team of horses and something scared the horses and they ran away. And it was a light wagon and the tongue fell down when they were running. Their knees knocked the neck yoke out, and then the tongue fell down and ran into the ground and catapulted him just like a teeter-totter. He went up in the air and landed on the broken tongue and killed him.
broke his back. Yeah.
In those days too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you ever go down, Dakota, and
Yeah,
did you ever go to the cemetery where Ezra's buried? Do you remember? Or?
I think we did. Bill and I went down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went down around Palo and Belma and,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see, Cassie and Clarence were from down that area.
Ah,
Yeah, that's where he lived on one side of the river and she lived on the other side. So they used to be like this. You have to wait till the water was just right to get back and forth to see each other.
ah.
Yeah. Too far to drive and try to find dry land, so they had to go back across the river.
Now, did Grandpa Darling ever talk about Nettie Bull at all? Do you remember anything about that?
No, he never did really much to me.
Okay.
Did Grandpa ever talk much about Nettie Bowl? I never-
No,
No, he never
no,
did.
no,
No, I don't know why, he never did, no.
no.
Mm-mm.
No, she talked about
Minnie.
his second wife, you know.
Minnie.
Yeah.
Minnie was the one who
That,
talked about.
she's the one that had all the children.
Yeah, And then Bertha.
And mother never knew her mother.
Yeah.
She was died before she was a year old.
Now the third one, Minnie, Grandpa married her when Mom and Dad got married, and then Grandpa was gonna go live, in Iowa, and then wouldn't be living with Mom or wouldn't have to have Lois or anybody, and not Lois, somebody. Anyhow, Minnie had a problem with leakage of the bladder, and so she wanted to have that fixed. So they got married, and then several months after that, she went to Iowa City to have it fixed. So Grandpa went with her, and she had a surgery, and so then he came back on the train to, where was it? What's the town now? Shenandoah.
Okay. Yeah.
And when he got back on a train, there was a telegram waiting for him, and it said that she had bled to death after the surgery and she had died. And he was just on his way home from the. So that was a bad thing because that was his plan. It was just like Mom and Dad when Aunt Cal died and Grandma was going to go and live with her Aunt Cal when Mom and Dad got married, but she
Oh.
died.
Cal?
Yeah. So then that's what happened with Grandpa and Minnie. Yeah. So that was the deal.
So they were only married a few months?
No, just a few months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did Grandpa ever talk about Leslie, Darling? I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah, Mother talked about him more, how much she was so close to him. And he was his reporter for the newspaper there.
Yeah.
And she said he was really good. He was on top of, if there was a fire or anything at all, he'd come running by and she'd say, here's a sandwich or something, because he'd know she'd have something ready for him. And he's always running by the house on a way someplace.
That was in Lake Preston?
No, that was in Shenandoah.
Yeah,
right?
Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, yeah, he was always tearing around, going,
Okay.
getting a story, but always stop and grab a sandwich from Mother.
Yeah.
And she said he was really her favorite one. She's really got along good with him. Of course, Everett and Walter were a lot younger.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she was really close to Walter, not to Walter, to Everett. Because she used to play the organ when she was in high school. And this little Everett would get his little chair and sit right beside the organ and listen to her. And as soon as she'd sit down at the organ, he'd get his chair and come over by her. And she really missed it. When he was sick, that was really hard on her. But then her, Minnie, the mother of the 4 children, told Mother, she said, I'll tell you something so you won't feel so bad. She said, you're going to have another little brother. She just hoped it was a brother. She said, in a few months, you're going to have another little brother, because she was expecting at that time. So then Mother got, well, okay. And come along, Walter. Yeah. And he was different than Walter, than Everett. He was a terror. Yeah, he used to live out at the farm there and paint and stuff. Before Walter was married, he used to live out in the farm.
Walter?
Yeah, and take care of stuff, or paint or something for your dad, prior dad?
Well, he worked there on the farm there through the summer.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they said he said he was working there.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
Not very hard.
He was running around with women.
Well,
You know what?
he would come up there to spend his summers.
Uh,
And, of course, he'd go to Sunday school, and there's some nice, pretty girls there, too. And he was a good-looking little guy, a really cute little guy. And the girls all swarmed over him. But he was supposed to be working there. And he'd spend most of the morning in bed till noon. Mother'd call and say, "The men are coming in for dinner now, Walter. Please get up." So he'd been up all night, you know, running around town with the car. He'd have the use of the car, an old Buick, you know. But he thought, anyway, it was a car. But he had a guitar, and he would sing, and oh, the girls loved that. And anyway, once there, I remember he was unloading corn there, corn picking time in the fall, and he was still there, but he was wanting to get back down to Iowa. And a couple girls came out from town there that wanted him to take them to a dance. And he turned them down. He says, "I've got to stay here and work." He says, "I've got to work enough to get back home again down to Iowa." So he turned them down. He wouldn't take them. But
It's hard on Dad having him laying around.
anyway, he decided to be a painter, I guess. So he made a contract, I guess, with the church there to paint this Methodist church. And I guess a written contract, I suppose. Anyway, after he got to working on it for a while, he thought he wasn't going to get enough money. So he applied for more money, and they didn't like that. And he did the same thing for my dad. He was going to paint the big house there, you know, and he agreed to paint it for a certain amount. And then he told my dad, he says, "I got to have more money." He says, "You got to have more money." Boy, that made my dad mad. He said, "Oh, I'll pay him, but I'll never hire him again."
Yeah, that's right.
So his mother said, "Don't pay him, don't pay him." He went back on his contract. But he was a smarty little guy, you know. He didn't care. He was didn't ever. But he eventually he changed, I guess.
Daisy, she changed him.
And he was going with Daisy, of course. We met Daisy once before they were married down in Iowa. We went down there and Walter went over to Boone, where she lived there with her folks. She was only a teenager, and she came over to have dinner with us or supper that night. And I don't know. Anyway, I remember she was a really pretty little gal. But Walter was kind of a wild guy, you know, and he was early 20s there. He was kind of mean to Lois and I, and I kind of always teasing us, and it was a bad time. And we didn't like him very well. But he changed. He got to be a pretty nice guy eventually.
Yeah.
He grew up.
Got married. That'll do it.
Well, Grandpa Darling had kind of a lot of sadness in his life.
Sure
At
did.
J.H., the dentist.
Yeah.
He married 4 times, and they all died. And his oldest son was killed in France. And a little guy that was only 4 years old, I guess, the one named Everett, I guess he died. And then Grace, of course, she had spinal problems, and she died. So,
Yeah.
And then he had a sister
a lot of
that
sadness.
got killed.
Oh.
Was that his sister that got killed in that carriage accident? His sister? I remember her name now, I can't think of it. But Grandpa had a sister.
one with sisters.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean Mady?
yeah, maybe.
No, there was, Mady.
But the other
No,
one.
yeah, she She lived in Idaho. She married
Yeah.
a farmer out
Yeah,
there.
but this other sister was married, and she and her husband were in a carriage accident.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
and that's what mother was telling me. And then she was expecting a child,
Oh,
but they all died, the whole group.
Mm.
So
Did your mom say where they lived? Where did they live?
they lived in Iowa, but I don't know
Okay.
where. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was long, long ago.
Now, how did your mom react to when Lois and Frank went to France and visited Leslie's grave?
Oh, Lois.
Lois and Frank when they went to France?
Aisley?
Or Aisley, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She was
I
really.
guess I'm getting
yeah.
old too.
She was really interested in that. Yeah, she was, real impressed when they found their certain graves and a little thing on the wall that had
Mhm.
his name and his picture and some flowers. And
Oh,
so, yeah, she was really happy to really know that he was there.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was good.
Where'd you get this from?
So Aisley brought back that rose, right?
Yeah,
Some of the
mhm,
roses,
yeah.
and your
Yeah.
mom kept them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was happy about that. That's all she'd ever heard firsthand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we had some good times out on the farm, all of us. And lots of fun whenever Grace lived there with the boys
Ah.
growing up.
Mhm.
Oh, I fed lots. That's where I get this feeding. I fed
Hmm.
bowls. I fed bowls and bowls of toast with milk on it, milk toast to Michael when he was growing up. Remember? He
Oh,
used
yeah.
to sit in the high chair and he'd just
Oh,
be
yeah.
beaming when I'd be coming around there with a bowl of milk toast.
Huh.
And he'd get his mouth ready and just pick up a spoon and it was open.
Yeah.
Douglas, you had to catch him to feed him.
Ah.
Michael was always ready.
So now your mom liked to make Pepsi floats, is that right?
Strawberry floats.
Strawberry floats.
Yes, and she liked strawberry and black cherry pop. She always
Ah,
had that
okay.
in that new house in the stairway. Always
Huh.
had a couple of cartons. And
We always just had Pepsi when I was
oh,
there.
Pepsi, well, yeah, she
She
liked
must have
that.
graduated to that.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she loved that. She got over to the red stuff.
Ah, yeah.
But she thought that was good after.
Chocolate mint ice cream.
Ah,
Chocolate
yes.
chip.
That was good.
And I wasn't hooked.
But
So
she-
you still like that too, the chocolate mint ice cream?
Yeah, I
right?
do.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, she liked it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
She'd
Makes
actually
Yeah,
buy
the great grandkids did too. so.
She'd actually buy me vanilla ice cream so I could have the float with her.
Well,
Yeah. So you'd have it with Pepsi?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still like Pepsi or I like root beer floats. That's what
Oh,
I
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Ah.
So Everett, what was your favorite food growing up? What did you like to snack on?
My favorite food,
Yeah.
chocolate cake
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Now,
with lots of frosting.
Who made that?
Hmm?
Who made that for you?
My mother or grandmother, they would be mixing up some batter, to make
Oh.
a cake, and they'd always let me scrape the pan, and also when they put the frosting on, I could scrape that pan too.
Yeah, that's a good part.
Better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a highlight of the kitchen.
Yeah, Mother always used to on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember every Sunday night?
Hmm?
Every Sunday night when we were little, they had popcorn or fudge.
Oh, yeah.
Never
Mhm.
failed.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
do one Sunday would be popcorn, next Sunday would be fudge.
And
We
now-
used to make a lot of fudge too.
Now, did you listen to the radio too at the same time, right? On Sunday nights or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what did you listen to?
Well, I used to lay out on the counter in the kitchen, have this little radio, because they were all in the other room reading. And I could get Nashville country music. That's the first I ever
Oh.
heard. Cassie loved, what's his name, Roy Acuff. She thought he was wonderful.
Huh.
And she listened to him, and when time we'd go over to her house, she'd have it on and said, now listen, here's Roy. And she'd get me started listening to that. So I used to lay on the counter, have the radio right by my ear, because it didn't come in very good. And they could all be in there, and I could have a piece of fudge on my there, because it was Sunday night, and eat and listen. I was in heaven.
Now, Everett, what did you do on Sunday nights? Did you read a magazine on Sunday nights, or what did you do?
Sunday night?
Yeah,
Well, we didn't watch TV, I know that.
yeah.
I can't remember whether we played dominoes or
Yeah, something like
Uh,
that.
something like that, I guess.
I think there's a game named Rook.
I should tell you some more about the farm there, I guess. There was 7 miles of fence on the farm.
Huh.
And in the spring, we always had to make a trip around the pastures there and fix a fence so before we could turn the cattle out on the grass,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't get over in the field. So I never liked fencing very well.
Neither.
I got too many scars on my hands from barbed wire.
Yeah.
And in the 30s there, the dirty 30s they call them, I know the first crop failure we had was 1931. Well, and in 32 we had a good small green crop, and 33 was not good, and 34 was terrible. That was, terrible. That's when we had the dirt storm, you couldn't even see anything. And then in 35 we had a little crop, and 36 was another really bad one. Really bad all over, drought and wind. And so then on 36 and 7, it got a little bit better. And so 39 I pulled out.
Yeah, that's what you came to say.
I had saved $45 there in 6 years by working for Clarence Elson, my uncle. And then he'd take a vacation, he and his wife would go to Iowa every fall. And I'd take care of his farm there while I was going, the sheep and cattle and stuff. So I made that much money there, and by 39 I had $45 saved. 6 years.
Well, and then you
But
borrowed money from Lois too, right? You borrowed money from Lois?
You borrowed some money from Lois?
Oh yeah, I had to borrow $15 in order to make it for sure.
Gee.
That way I had money when I landed there in Seattle. Could pay my rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was but farming there during the 30s, it was pretty tough, really
Yeah.
tough. There's no other work to do. The only thing that with harvest time, I'd make a few dollars, the people that work in the farms. I know Clifford Larson, one of the, you remember Clifford?
Oh, yes.
He got a job through the winter there working for $15 a month for a dairy farm there.
Oh, wow.
Milked it out, and he would put in 10 hours a day every day.
So how many head of cattle did you have on the farm?
How many
there?
cattle?
Yeah.
I think it would average around 50 or 60 head of cattle, beef
Okay.
cattle. And I had a hard time getting enough scraped up there to keep them through the winter.
So is that what you ate most of the time? You ate beef then, most of the time? You slaughter your own cows?
No, not the cattle. The pigs, we'd slaughter
Oh,
the pigs,
okay.
but we quit raising hogs there because we didn't have any grain. So we had to quit raising hogs. So the beef, we'd take it to the butcher in town there, he'd slaughter it. But sometimes we'd go with another person that wanted some beef too,
Oh, yeah. Now, did you have chickens out there? Did you have chickens?
Oh yeah, we had chickens always. I always had chickens.
Did you sell the eggs then to someone?
And we had pheasants too.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Well, in 1938, the soil had been blowing so bad, in the 30s there. They decided, agriculture Department of Agriculture decided to put in strip trees of
Oh, yeah.
forest, you know.
Shelter belts?
And so
Yeah.
they had signed up 7 acres there of trees, half mile.
Mhm.
And so they planted those, and I haven't been back for years, but I guess they're still growing. I think the cottonwoods were the center row,
Yep,
and then they had choke cherries on the first row on the side.
yep.
And I know you and Aisley,
Yes.
Grace used to go out and pick choke cherries.
Yeah, we sure did.
Remember that?
Yes, I made lots of
They'd
jelly.
take milk pails and pick them full. Well, those choke cherries got, 6, 8 feet high, you know, and just real thick.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk through.
Yeah.
But they put them on the outside there for the north wind to catch the snow, and so they did real good.
So you made jelly
Mhm.
and,
Of the choke cherries.
yeah, and did you make any pies or anything?
No, they're too little, too
They're
seedy,
Ah,
and too
okay.
sour.
Oh, yeah.
But they made good jam, or jelly.
As long as you pour a lot of sugar in them, yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes the jelly didn't set up in those days, so then we used it on our pancakes as
Oh,
syrup.
okay.
Yeah. And so that was good. And the thing I liked the best about the thing I liked, one of the best things was when Mother made mincemeat.
What was that?
Mincemeat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she make big dish pans full of mincemeat
Yeah.
out of the meat that they
Mm.
butcher.
Oh, wow.
And that was so good. She made wonderful mincemeat pies. It's still my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Remember they used to make soap too.
oh yes, she made lots of soap. Oh, that was good, yeah. She made lots of soap, and we had a big dollhouse that Everett made for us, a big one. Remember that dollhouse you made us? You remember that big dollhouse you made us? The big dollhouse we had
Mhm.
by the fireplace? So we'd carve all our furniture out of this soap that Mother made. It was
Ah.
white. And so we'd put newspapers down and carve sinks and refrigerators and beds and all kinds of stuff. Well, Mother just loved to have us do that because see that she had to shave the soap otherwise herself.
Ah,
So we did all this and didn't know we were doing a
you were
good thing.
working, yeah.
And we had lots of fun. Oh yeah. And we wallpapered. We used to get wallpaper books in the mail with samples.
Oh, yeah.
Catalog. So we repaper our house every once in a while.
Ah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Wow.
beautiful wallpaper and
So now what did they make the soap out of?
lard.
Okay.
Yeah, lard. And it's good for your hands. So we all had smooth hands.
Yeah.
And it washed clothes good too. She put lye with it.
Hmm.
Lye and soap. And cooked it up, and she had wooden boxes lined with, I'm not sure what she lined them with, but then she poured it in there when it was soft, kind of
Ah,
soft, creamy
yeah.
and white, and spread it out, and then when it got cool, she cut it in bars, and
Yeah.
then she poured out.
Do you know where she got the mincemeat pie? Where she learned to do that?
I don't know, she knew how to do it always. Maybe, I don't know where she learned to do that. But she made big dish pans full of it, and it was good. If I could ever get out there to get a bite of it before she put it in cans or jars, I thought, wow, this is good.
Huh. Now, did you ever get the recipe from her?
I never
for
did
that?
make any.
Okay.
No.
Ah, okay.
It takes a lot of doing, a lot of
Oh, yeah.
spices, and lots of meat.
Ah, okay.
I just didn't do it.
Hmm.
I was too busy raising kids.
Was that one of your dad's favorites? Is that why she made it? or-
Yeah, it had a lot of raisins and all kinds
Oh,
of
yeah.
citron and a lot of tenderloin pork.
Hmm.
This is pork that we liked.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And we had wonderful breakfast always,
Hmm.
summer and winter, pancakes, and
Ah.
buckwheat in the winter with tenderloin.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It was wonderful. I tell you, there's nothing like those breakfasts.
Taking notes.
Do you remember the good breakfast we used to have with buckwheat pancakes and
Oh, boy, I'll say,
tenderloin?
yeah,
And
that was,
it was
wonderful.
wonderful. The best
We're gonna
thing
have
in
to
the
do that.
world.
yeah, when we butcher would have
Oh,
loin meat, well, that was good.
yeah, we never had a pork chop because he pulled
You'd
the
always
loin
wait
out
till
out.
kind of cold weather before we'd have buckwheats,
I know it.
and then we'd butcher.
Yes, and it was,
Man.
oh, it was good.
That's See, we're gonna have to have one of those parties.
Yes.
And they,
Oh, they're wonderful.
and the hams and show to see hams and bacon, we'd cure in big crocks, sugar cured.
Hmm.
And the crocks were that big around, that high, you know,
Yeah.
fill it up with brine
Huh.
and put the meat in there and let it soak for,
Mm.
I don't know how long they had it in there.
You know, one time Mother said she had, I think, 15 hams
Is that
soaking
right?
at one time. And then when they'd get cured, they'd go out in this little, it used to be an old outhouse and turned it into a smokehouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Resourceful.
they smoked applewood in there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was good.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice bacon,
Ah.
hams.
And then she would hang them out on this, just hang them out, nail out in the,
Cloves on a ham.
in the basement, you know, before you go down the steps, she'd have hams and bacon hanging out there.
Huh.
And just bring it in when she wanted some, slice it off.
Huh.
And never had to keep it in the refrigerator or anything. It was wonderful. It's just,
So some parts of
hmm?
the old days were good, good old days.
Yeah, they were, mine were wonderful. Yeah.
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 Oh, I guess so.
Wow. I love buckwheat pancakes.
So what did you put on the buckwheat pancakes?
There's syrup. Mother had a syrup pan,
Ah, okay.
and it was a round syrup pan, about that thick, and she kept it on the back of the stove all the time and just let it kind of simmer there. And when she'd get ready to make pancakes or something, then she'd add the water and syrup and bring it up to a boil again, and then just shove it back there till she needed it the next morning. So it was always ready to go.
Always ready, yeah.
Just bring it up to a boil, and it was good. That was the best part of our meal. Well, all the meals were good, but those were good.
So now what were you doing on the, besides the cattle, what were you doing on the farm? What were you growing?
Growing
You have
up-
gardens probably, huh?
Growing on the farm, what were you growing?
Oh,
Well-
crop-wise?
Yeah, crop-wise.
Yeah, during the dry years.
Just anything.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
dry years.
When you were growing crops, what did they try to grow in the dry years? Oats?
Well, just the regular oats and corn.
Yeah.
If it rained, we got a crop. If it didn't, we didn't get a crop.
Yeah, yeah.
We always had plenty of thistles.
Yes, definitely.
oh, the Russian thistles.
Thistles.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
go, and when they, in the winter time, where they would break loose from the ground, the thistles, and they were, oh, they'd be that big around, you know, that
Yeah.
high. And they
Yeah,
break
roll.
loose, they go bounding across the field. And
Tumbleweed
they'd
seed.
shake off a little seed for next year
Yeah.
each time they bounce.
Yeah.
Oh,
But they had a taproot that were 8 down
yeah.
when they started in the spring, you know. And they didn't have any competition why they'd do well. They just put everything on. They'd overcrowd the grain and everything. And of course, the corn would get about that high, and then a hot wind would come along and cook it. So we cut it with a grain binder,
Yeah.
just like bundles like grain.
Yeah.
And so the bundles are about that high, and dry corn or stalks.
So now when you came to Oregon, what did you start growing? You worked,
What did I do? What?
yeah, when you were out here in Oregon, what did you do on the farm in North Howell?
Oh, well, we just raised, well, it was a berry farm, and we raised caneberries and strawberries. And the Grace took charge of the berry pickers,
Ah,
and I got a job working in town then. With my brother-in-laws, they were working for Lance,
yeah.
and so there was a crew was five men, 4 carpenters and me.
Okay. What did you do there? What did you do? What was your job?
I did everything from digging the ditches there to nail on the roofing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was a jack of all trades and a master of none. But yeah,
So when did you buy the house? So was it on Cranston or
Coolidge.
Coolidge. When did you buy the house on Coolidge? The house on Coolidge, when did you buy that?
Oh. Well, I can't remember. Well, when we moved to town there, we sold a farm and bought the house then.
Okay.
And we kept that till, well, we stayed on the farm when the boys were young, and they were working on the farm too, but then they left by then. There was no object staying there any longer,
Yeah.
so we moved to town. And we used to come to the open houses here at Capitol Manor once in a while. They'd have an open house, you know,
Uh-huh.
and advertising that way. So Grace said, well, maybe we should move into. Well, let's see. We had bought this little villa.
Yeah.
That's what we bought, the villa. And we stayed there. Well, she was there 5 years, and she died. So I stayed 2 years there in the villa, batching, and then I decided to move into here. So I've been here for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Is that right?
Must be,
Yeah?
But I had a lot of fun here, working in the wood shop. I
Yeah.
I made a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, the wood shop.
When did she die?
97.
97.
So you want to talk about that picture? Just go ahead and tell us about that picture.
Oh,
Yeah, you saw it, I
that's,
guess.
Oh, I know who that is.
that's your 4th grade picture, huh?
Yep, there's a cute guy right there.
Yeah.
And there's his friend. Yeah, that's Everett. Who's got the snow bunnies?
Yeah, he became a car salesman and an alcoholic.
Oh, well, that's a good picture. No, that's a cute picture. Everett, you can see his smile right there.
Yeah.
You can hold it up to the
Right there.
And what, you said there were no girls in that class, right? No girls?
Yeah, I knew all of them. I knew what happened to them, most of them.
Oh, yeah. But no girls, though?
No girls in that picture.
Yeah,
That's-
this little guy, he was real smart. He skipped a couple grades, so he was 2 years younger than the rest of us. And he became a professor at Yale.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
And he was a music teacher, and he was an ornery guy, and he was a farmer. And Byron Olson, he was a stockbroker, and he worked in a creamery at Lake Preston. And he went to Chicago and became a big operator, a big truck merchant, and became a millionaire.
Wow.
And this man, I don't know what happened to him, but this man died with pneumonia, and he didn't amount to much either.
Pointing at himself.
And he was a car salesman and alcoholic
that's,
in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So that just about takes care of him.
How many are left? How many others are?
I'm the only one left,
You're at, huh? Yeah.
except for one girl, and she's not in that.
Yeah.
So she lives in California.
Mm. Yeah.
So there's 2 of us out of 29.
Wow. Yeah.
So now what about this one? Pass
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, you had this huge sunflower in your backyard there, right?
I
That was
think
1965 when I came out here with my sister
Oh,
Carol.
okay.
The reason that thing got so big, I think they had a chicken house there. I think it was a chicken yard there, and they got
Yeah.
fertilized a little bit.
Man, I'm surprised it stood straight up. But
Yeah.
of course, you don't get the wind down here so much.
Yeah, I think it must have
That
been.
was one of the best years of my life there,
No,
1965.
it's all,
1968 was the best. That's when I met Audrey.
yeah.
Oh,
Did you see it?
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, it's just,
yeah, Danny had a garden there. He had some, and he planted that sunflower.
that's neat.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So what else do we have in this stack of stuff?
Well,
Everything down, huh?
I guess, is this one in here?
should have brought those arrowheads along.
Oh, that's okay, we've seen those before.
Oh, yeah, you've seen that picture,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a good one on the farm, yeah.
this is the one that died.
It was, Aunt Mady.
No, this is, oh, this
That
one,
was-
oh yeah, this is Aunt Mady, okay, yeah.
She lived in Idaho.
Yeah, that's right, I
We
remember that.
used to have to see her once, Grace and I,
Yeah,
and his Uncle Lester.
yeah, Uncle Lee.
And I think he still had relatives in Seattle area. He formed a company called, you know,
Yeah,
the Darling Company.
yeah,
And I
right.
think that's still on the Board of Trade.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
His son had it, and he was quite a dashing looking man,
Yes,
wasn't
he
he?
was. Grandpa?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Yep. I noticed
Yeah,
that.
he was a little over 6 feet tall, about 6'1", I
Yeah.
think.
Well, now Lydia would have been, is that Lydia?
And that was his mother.
Huh?
Carolyn.
That's
Darling.
Carolyn.
Oh, Lydia would have been George's
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it says something in here, in her obituary that,
She's the one, she was deaf, stone deaf.
oh,
And that's why she couldn't attract a more eligible suitor, I guess, and so she married this commoner preacher, and so the family disowned her. Otherwise,
so
she would have.
that's- What's her name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn Northrup, darling.
Carolyn.
She's the one, Ezra.
Yeah.
Ezra.
I think Lauren went up there and looked.
Yeah, he did.
through the
He
history
saw
of the
that, yeah.
family.
Yeah, he
When
found-
the mother, no, when Grandpa went to Chicago to dental school,
Yeah?
you know, his wife had died and he had a mother. So Carolyn went along, that'd be
Oh,
to take care of mother. She was just little.
Hmm.
And mother said she can remember,
Wow.
she couldn't hear anything, this Carolyn. But where they lived was kind of in, she would call it a dago, like an Italian, in the old days, neighborhood. And sometimes on certain nights, the guys would get drunk and they'd come up the stairs to different apartments and they'd beat on their door and want to get in and singing and hollering. Well, Grandma said Carolyn didn't know this was going on. Mom was scared to death. She'd sit over there by Grandma, Carolyn, and sit real tight to her so that, you know, if anything happened, she could protect her. But, and she said another thing was when the fire trucks with the horses went by at night, they were so noisy and all the bells clanging and the horses and everybody screaming and hollering. And Carolyn didn't know any of this was going on, but see, Mother was always so scared when all this noise and she knew Grandma couldn't hear.
Now, do you know what year they moved to Chicago?
I don't know, but Mother was little.
Yeah.
And it would be after this first one died, Nellie. And when Grandpa decided then to go be a dentist.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be right after, a while after his wife died and Mother was just little. She was way younger.
Well, I know it was around 1892.
Yeah, when was Mother born? Let's see, 91.
Mhm.
So it'd be 92. But
Yeah.
she was real little. She was
Yeah.
very small.
So I think that, because Leslie was born in 1895 and he was born in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, and then there's that picture of Grandpa Darling in 1892, I think.
Yeah.
So they were there for at least three or 4 years, probably. But see, the World's Fair was going on in 1893.
Oh, yeah, right.
So they were there for the
Yeah.
World's Fair.
Right. And Mother didn't remember anything about that. She was
Yeah.
so little.
Well, yeah, she was small.
How did they communicate with Carolyn then?
I don't know how she did. I don't know. But she seemed to get along perfect with her
Yeah.
and never had any trouble. But she just remembered those times when she knew this wild stuff was going on and
Yeah.
Grandma didn't know what was happening and it scared her.
Yeah, because I think I found maybe one or two of their addresses where they lived
Oh,
when they were
yeah.
there, so I'll go look that up.
Yeah. But she was remembered there was some scary times.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Do you remember any other stories about Chicago she told you about?
Oh, let's see. Mainly that's some things with Grandma Darling, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, because she was so little, she didn't remember too many things.
Yeah.
Just these things that stuck in her mind, I suppose.
Yeah.
I noticed in this obituary about Lydia, it says, among, her ancestors were among the oldest settlers in America. Some of them participated in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
Right there?
yeah, they claimed they had relatives there in the civil, in the Revolutionary War.
Well, so that'd have been the Van Notes, and then if you follow them back, yeah. I didn't know that, I guess.
Whereabouts did they come from for sure?
Well, it doesn't really say here. It just says her father came to Lynn County, Iowa before the railroads were built, but it doesn't have the rest of the obituary here, so.
They were Dutch, Pennsylvania Dutch.
Hmm.
Did you ever see that old muzzleloader rifle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Wayne Rasmussen had that?
No, Mark's got it now.
Oh, Mark's got it now, okay. Yeah, okay.
So whose was that originally? Who owned that originally? The muzzleloader.
Oh, it was my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So
It
Frank?
was the barrel was 3 feet long and it was about that big. I mean,
It was heavy.
it just had a little hole in it, about I suppose about a 37 millimeter. Instead of a 22 or a 44,
Mhm.
it's about a 37.
Yeah.
But the barrel was rifled, you know,
Huh.
and they had, originally they had a billet mold. They could make their own bullets,
Ah.
little round bullets
Yeah.
for that thing. But I never saw it. I don't know what happened to it,
Hmm.
but they used to make their own bullets.
So that was Frank who owned that?
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah. Now, do you know if somebody gave that to him, passed it down to him?
I think it was actually a squirrel. They call it a squirrel gun.
Ah.
That they would shoot squirrels and quail and stuff like that. It just had a little round bullet.
Huh.
I never fired that thing, and I don't think anybody else ever did either.
Yeah. Well, I've got,
It had a hammer on the outside of the barrel,
yeah.
and then they put a percussion cap on that, and you whack that thing, it would ignite the coat.
Yeah. Well, you gave the 22 rifle that you had to my dad, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I had a couple of them, 22.
It jams all the time, I
Did
noticed.
he?
Yeah.
But Dad kept it.
Yeah, I had one was a Mossberg, one was a Remington, and one was a Mossberg.
I think we must
They
have
were
a
just single shot. I mean,
we got the Remington, it's an automatic one.
Remington.
Yeah, it's our, well, I know we got one that's automatic, but it'll only do a few in a row and then it'll jam. Like it won't kick the one out and then you gotta start over, so.
I shot a fox with that rifle once.
That was a hip shot, right?
It was a lucky shot. About as far as from here to the window there, I guess. And he was in the clover and he was jumping. He was so thick he couldn't walk through it. So I had almost stepped on him. And he jumped up and started running for the edge of the field. And I just kind of shot from my hip.
Yeah.
And I figured I missed him because I run over there and he was a furrow right alongside the edge of the field. I figured he was probably in the furrow running down. I could maybe get a shot at him. I looked down at my feet and he was there at my feet.
Yeah.
I got him right through the neck.
Wow. Now here,
That was a lucky shot.
Here in hay. Or Aaron Vander. Yeah.
All right, so we'll take another break then.
All right.
How much more?
And it opened up a thing about that wide there and about 6 feet long that you just rats could walk right through it.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. No.
So I patched it up with some more cement,
Oh,
but
good deal.
I imagine it kept right on selling because there had been 2 big old cisterns there, real old.
Oh.
Remember them?
Yes, I do.
So anyway, when they dug that out there, they must have
They didn't take.
filled it in or something with, just dirt.
Yeah, wooden
And
holes.
then they put a foundation on, called that the foundation of the house, and it just went down.
Yeah.
And that whole corner of that house was going down,
Oh,
and
dear.
the siding was opening up in the corner.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's amazing.
And remember they called the pink room upstairs there, you girls had?
Yeah,
The ceiling was coming down in that,
oh yes.
remember?
Yeah.
The roof leaked so bad
Oh.
that it soaked up the plaster. The plaster was starting to settle down.
I remember when they shingled the house.
I think they had to tear that all out and put in sheetrock.
You remember when they shingled the house one summer?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember that. And had all these shingles piled out in the front yard there by the front porch. And then Grace and I and Asa would go out and get up on those shingles. And then we would climb up on the roof of the house. Well, we'd get to the top and look over it where the very peak, you know, it's
Uh-huh.
pretty high. And
Yeah, that was high.
Asa was always daring us, so we always would get up there maybe once in a while. And then she wanted to go down on the west side where the dormer was.
Oh,
She wanted to go down and look over that. Well,
That-
we wouldn't do that.
yeah, it went down, then it sloped off.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
So you're talking about this corner here?
Yeah, that was the corner of the house. It was,
Yeah.
there had been two cisterns there when the people had owned the house before my folks went there. And they had plastered them up with, you know, they weren't too good.
Yeah.
And one of them was leaking pretty bad. But I think when they excavated there, I don't know what they dug, but anyway, they didn't have a good foundation on that corner of the house there for this house. They, when they poured the cement there, the wall, you know, or footing wall there, but, basement wall, but it started settling and it opened up a crack like that
Wow.
between the cement and then the frame.
Mm.
And the rats could walk right in.
Oh, boy. Yeah, now they've added on a big double car garage.
Yeah, in the back,
over
they
there.
put a double garage
Yeah,
back there.
Yeah,
So I think this is all gone
yeah,
now.
there's nothing
And,
left.
Metal buildings are gone. I don't know whether the silo
No.
is still around.
Nothing's there now.
Huh?
All that's left is the house.
This is all
Barn there?
gone.
Yep,
Barn too.
yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was surprised the barn was gone this time when we were back
Oh,
there.
really?
Or, let's see, that'd be,
2010.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
know we tore the plank floor all out of the barn, and Art Peterson was working for me. And
Yeah.
pulled it out here and
Piled
burned it,
up back there with
and
the
put in a new
down
cement
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
floor in the
Yeah,
barn.
it's-
there.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't know
it's-
what-
yeah, there's one-
Henry, if I'd known he was gonna be there milking cows, why we would've put a gutter in, but there was no gutter.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you you helped tear down the other side over there. There was a kind of a shed on the other side. Did you
Oh,
tear
yeah.
that down?
Well, I don't remember.
I think Mother said you,
Oh.
Mother said you, some kids had.
Okay.
Torn that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But,
that's a lot to
I
repair.
didn't know whether the barn was still there or not.
No, it was gone. I was surprised.
Kitchen stove that sat out,
So,
foundation
I
of the
think
house that burned down.
this one was the only thing that was
It's
there.
still there.
I think so. Or at least it was the last time, but then maybe, it was there at one time, but I think maybe this last time, I don't think anything was there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I figured sooner or later they'd bury it.
So I'm not sure.
Actually, well, let's see, then they planted a lot of evergreens in the front yard when Oddens were there.
Yeah,
I know we went by there once, there was just little trees
Yeah.
like that.
yeah,
I suppose they're big now.
yeah, and then they planted a bunch of other stuff over here too.
Yeah, I
They
planted some.
expanded that back because a lot of these died.
Oh, it did.
The pines or whatever he had there,
Yeah.
so they planted more trees.
Mhm.
Yeah, they probably is even with that now.
Yeah, that's where the winds always come out, northwest wind from the
Yeah.
storms.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, Grandma, you got the recipe for divinity from Grandma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What other recipes did you get from her?
Oh,
Some of your favorites.
icebox cookies, brown
Oh.
sugar cookies that you can mix up and then slice them off as you want them.
Hmm.
Keep them in the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
I made some the other day.
Oh, really?
And, let's see.
What about that marshmallow roll she used to
Oh,
like to
yeah,
make?
yeah, marshmallow bug. Jennifer used to love that. She had marshmallows and I've got the recipe, but I haven't made that for a long time. And chocolate chips melted up or something, and
Oh, yeah.
marshmallows. And, graham crackers. She used to fix graham crackers and bananas and whipped cream. And what else did she put in there? And then we'd have that for dessert. And then if there's some left over, she'd send it in little jars to school with us.
Ah.
And it was so good. Yeah, she made her own graham crackers, a lot of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she used to
Did
make
you
her own mayonnaise.
Did
but
you see the
they were-
arrowheads I
wasn't
had
even
picked
coming
up?
to the
Yeah,
house.
I mean, have you seen that?
Yeah.
Mayonnaise.
I was
He
gonna
didn't
bring
like
it over here, but I
When
forgot
she
it.
cooked it, he'd come to the door and he'd say, uh-oh.
You
He'd go
want
back
me to go
out.
get them for you?
Who is that who didn't like
Did
it?
you want me to go
He
get them?
ever
for you?
didn't
Oh,
like
ever
it
didn't
If
when
like
mother
anybody
would
wants to
make
look
it.
at them, I don't
Huh.
know matter, you've seen them.
Huh.
Oh,
That'd
it
be-
was funny. But, I can't
You
remember
just
what
found
else.
those on the farm, right?
Or
You
fudge,
just found those
you know,
while you're on the farm?
make
Mhm.
the best
Okay.
fudge.
I will get them for you.
They're in there's a cabinet right there on the far side of the room there, right by the windows, and there's a door in there, and it's right inside the door.
Okay.
So the mayonnaise?
Do you remember when mother used to make her own mayonnaise and you would come to the door?
I remember,
Yes. And you turn
it
around,
just about knocked me down, I'd be fumes from that,
and you turn around, and go right back outside.
the vinegar, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, I'd be outdoors and in the fresh air, you know, and I'd take a breath of that stuff and
Just double it in.
knock me down.
So it was pretty strong mayonnaise, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Huh.
She made the best potato salad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she cut everything up and lots of eggs
Yeah.
and
I get that one.
a lot of different things that she used to put in at times.
So how did she make the mayonnaise?
Well, first you use it with eggs and vinegar and mustard, and flour.
Huh.
And you mix it all up and boil it.
Hmm.
Thicken it.
Okay.
And a little
Yeah.
salt and pepper. And, yeah, so it was
My
good.
arrowheads I found.
Oh, yeah, I remember them. Some of them are so pretty perfect, aren't they?
Yeah, some of them just broke. The Sioux Indians didn't have good material to work with for arrowheads. They had granite, and they didn't chip very good.
Hmm.
But I think they must have traded around a little bit to get better stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the other tribes, and the amber stuff chipped real good. My dad found one in perfect arrowhead,
Hmm.
and it was amber. It must have come from
Oh,
somewhere
wow.
else.
That's a nice case.
That's the only one he ever found.
Hmm.
So did you make the case?
Did you make the case?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, some of these were, no, that's the one my father found, that one there.
Oh, yeah,
It's a perfect
it
one.
is.
But I found that one out in the,
That's a
Or-
big one.
I think
Wow.
that was a spear.
It must have been.
Yeah, bigger.
So which one is it your dad found?
You
Oh,
remember?
this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
See, it was amber,
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
something different. Different kind of metal.
Yeah, wow.
But some of these white ones here, they were granite,
Oh,
you know,
must
and they
make some
didn't
vinegar
chip very good.
someday. I'll
I
have
don't
to
know what
make
that
some.
stuff was there. They're a little
They'll
better.
see this little smush.
But I had lots of pieces, you
I
know,
don't know what happened.
Broken
to
ones and stuff,
but
yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to them.
They were Friday.
That's pretty good collection.
Anyway, I thought I'd make an
Sun is
arrowhead.
shining right
Yeah.
now.
That's pretty cool.
It's rainy if it isn't shining.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Put a hasp on that, would be like Paul Bunyan's spear, huh?
Yeah, you would, yeah.
so now, Grandma, what was the first car you ever drove? Do you remember your
Yeah.
first driving?
I remember helping out on the farm this summer when Douglas was a baby.
Mhm.
And you were still farming the quarters south, about how far? 5 miles south? Remember those quarter of land down south you farmed?
I mean, the Holborn Quarter,
No, the one south.
North Howell.
Yeah, it was down south about 5 miles, down beyond Brecky's. Yeah, you used to farm that. You forgot.
I can't remember.
Well, anyhow, you said one day you needed something down on that farm. You didn't have time to get it. So you said, you take the car and go down there and get that.
Oh.
I had never driven
Oh,
any car, I'd never driven a car. And you said, just go down there, stay between the ditches and get that thing. And I thought, okay, I'll do it.
I don't know.
So I did.
I don't know where that was.
It was 5 miles down there, yeah. And
It only took you 10 seconds probably, the way you drive.
and I thought, this is neat.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little Ford.
Did you make it?
Yes, I did. But it
The
was
gravel flew, I'm
your
sure.
Ford car,
Oh, Ford?
your little Ford car that you had,
Mhm.
yeah. And so I took it and.
Yeah, that was a good car.
Yeah, it was.
So
Look
what
you created there.
What year was that about that you went down?
Probably 1946 or 7.
Okay.
6, yeah.
And you don't remember what you had to go get, or?
I don't remember what it was. Some piece of some
She was just excited to get behind
Get
the
in the
wheel
car.
Oh my
there.
gosh, I couldn't believe you told me to take off. Drove down the driveway and up on the road, and I thought, wow, this is fun.
So did you start driving right after that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
She couldn't get it out of her
Couldn't stop
hands
it.
then.
After they got to Plymouth, let's see, Dad bought that Plymouth, I can't remember what year. It was the first one at the state fair that fall. We went to the fair, 39, I think.
Okay.
Had the first lights in the fenders, those Plymouths did. Must have been 39 or 40. Probably his last year at the fair, maybe 40. And so I drove that car a lot as when I was in high school.
So did you go to the state fair quite a bit then, when you
We
were
always-
there?
Yeah, we always went to the state fair, yeah.
Did you exhibit things at all, or did you
Yeah.
just go as, okay?
Grace and I exhibited barred rock roosters.
Really?
Beautiful chickens. And we always raised them, they're big. And then we had tamed them down so they were nice and tamed. And we put on the Vaseline on their red combs and on their legs. So their legs were shiny yellow. And they were beautiful. We won ribbons on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
they
never
were
heard that one before.
Yeah.
Where's the ribbons?
I don't know. Yeah, but that was fun.
Should have your picture taken with that.
I know, but they didn't do things like that. They just,
So Everett, do you remember going to the state fair?
State Fair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we always went.
Yeah.
I ushered at the South Dakota State Fair when I was in college there. They had some of the kids there, they wanted to usher ROTC.
Oh, yeah.
How many years did you go to college?
Just 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Now, what did you study?
Mhm.
What did you study?
Start. Oh, what was that? 36 or 7, I think.
What did you study? What subject?
Agriculture.
Okay, yeah.
I played at the
All
state
courses
fair.
agriculture.
What did you play? Yeah.
I learned how to splice a rope.
The drums?
I still remember the piece of rope that's broken, I can splice
4
it.
years in high school, the bass drum.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Happy darn.
So what did you do now?
I played the bass drum 4 years in high school. And so they picked a certain group of the kids to go to play at the state fair.
Uh-huh.
And so I was one of them, and so I played that one.
Marching band, right?
Yeah. But we were on the stage, so I didn't have to carry it.
Oh,
And then I played in Brookings at Hobo Day,
oh.
and had the bass drum, but had one kid help me carry it in the front, little guy. And then reversed that way. Yeah. And then I was chosen to play a lot of times in the pep bands for the basketball games. And then they had one big concert, guy from Berkeley State College, I think his name was Christie. And he was a band leader of the Berkeley band. So I was chosen to play with his group, so I got to play the bass drum with that group. And I had a good time playing the drum. I liked it. I had rhythm. I didn't read the music, but I knew the beat. Didn't matter what song it was, I could play it
Yeah.
because I didn't have to pay attention to the word or the music.
So Everett, what did you do in high school? Did you have any
When?
hobbies or in high school?
Oh, I like to shop.
Yeah.
We had our teacher, he was a professor, and he was a superintendent too.
Ah,
And so he taught shop, and he taught Latin,
oh, really?
and he was superintendent, and he didn't have a secretary. He did his own typing on a, like that, one finger.
Yeah.
So he got $1,500 a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was nice.
My dad was on the
Yeah,
school board, so I knew things like that.
Yeah.
He was a good man, a good, little short guy. He's only about 5'2" or so.
Huh.
Little guy, but had a real deep voice.
Yes, he did. And I had him too, you know.
Huh?
He was my superintendent too.
Was he?
And my teacher, yeah.
Huh. So who was your favorite teacher? Do you remember?
Oh, I had a lot of good teachers.
Yeah, I know. We did, yeah,
What was your favorite subject?
in high school.
Yeah.
Music?
Yeah, like we did this.
Yeah.
It wasn't phys ed. I'm not the athletic type. I don't know, I like social studies, and this superintendent taught that. I
Oh,
liked that
okay.
class, that was good.
Yeah.
And,
I think my second grade teacher, I think, was Mrs. Butler. I think she was the wife of the doctor, elderly doctor.
Huh.
And I liked spelling, and I knew that I had spelled my lesson completely. And so she was going around correcting the papers there during the class, and she came to mine and she marked it wrong. I was positive I had the letters the words all right. And I said, "What happened? What was wrong?" She said, "You misspelled your name."
Oh, good night.
Wow.
So I didn't get 100.
Oh, my God. That's funny. I like Tomac.
Oh, yeah.
And that's good. That's a lot of fun.
The sewing or the cooking
Yeah.
or both?
Sewing and cooking and making clothes
Huh.
and all kinds of good stuff.
So do you remember things that you learned in that class?
Yeah, I remember the dress I made, first dress I
Oh,
ever
really?
made,
Huh.
red checkered,
Oh.
and had pockets on the front, and it was nice, pretty dress.
Oh, yeah.
Pleated skirt or
Hmm?
did you make any pleated skirts or anything? Or was that not in then?
No, we weren't.
Okay.
It was just a regular dress, had kind of flared skirt.
So what kind of cooking did you do in that class?
Well, we learned how to make all kinds of things, cookies, and tried to teach us how to make pies, but nobody
Oh.
caught on very good
Oh, yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
It's 5:30. When do you have to go eat?
Yeah, we can break for dinner whenever you have to go.
When's dinner? What time do you have to go to dinner?
Oh, I don't have to go
Yeah.
to dinner.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He's gonna skip dinner. This is
I-
too much
Oh,
fun.
okay.
I have stuff in my room
Yeah.
if I get hungry. But would you like to stop for dinner?
No, I was thinking if you had any buckwheat pancakes in your room, I'd go for that. Or pork loins, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
haven't
good.
got enough for everybody here. I'll sure be glad when I get my better ears.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sound good.
Yeah, so maybe I could probably go home pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to add at all?
I don't know.
I think we're pretty good. We
Oh, this
You're really
is-
did a
good.
couple hours. So.
Wonderful.
See what's
And then
doing.
that cell phone is going off, so I guess that's a
Hello,
sign.
Stephen.
All right.
Good,
Might as
we're
well
here
get it
with
on.
Everett and Grandma.
Steven's interrupting the taping.
Yep, so you're on the film right now, so say something. Yeah. Yeah, they're still filming, so what do you got to say for these guys?
He's finally speechless.
Yeah. So what's up?
We just got her bike too, so we're gonna bike home and then come back to get her car, but.
Okay.
I don't know how long you guys are gonna be going, but.
Yeah, we're just about done. We're wrapping it up here, so.
Okay.
All right. Yep, so you just got her bike, you say?
All right. Well, thank you very much for
Yeah,
doing
it was
it.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay.